Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining me tonight. Yeah, appreciate you joining me. I know there's other big things going on, but I hear it's a little bit of a blowout. So why don't we just talk about things that are really relevant? And to do that, I have John Kraft with me. He is a founding member of the Edgar County Watchdogs, and he has a whopper of a story. I was not even aware of this story. It's about Danville School District 118 and the superintendent's lawsuit and her payout and everything else. We're going to get to that in just a moment, John. I know you're listening as I talk about this, but why is this important? Well, Wall Street Journal over the weekend has this editorial: secession from Illinois is in the air. Multiple counties want to leave, and Indiana says, come on over. As states grow more politically polarized, the difference between good, bad governance is coming into sharper relief for voters. This is what the editorial board writes. Enough people are noticing in Illinois that some counties want to secede from the land of Lincoln and join a state that isn't ruled by public unions and their political yes men. In November, to little national notice, 7 Illinois counties voted to consider seceding, and now Indiana is rolling out the welcome mat. Voters in Iroquois, Calhoun, Clinton, Greene, Jersey, Madison, and Perry counties approved a non-binding ballot question on cutting ties with Illinois. The votes weren't even close. 6 of the 7 counties approved the advisory question by more than 70%. It goes on to talk about the attraction is obvious for Illinois residents, the nearby table, and they have a table of Illinois versus Indiana on a number of metrics. Provides good governance versus bad governance. Let's just look at some of these. Economic outlet, 5th is Indiana, 48th is Illinois. Average effective property tax, less than 1%, 0.77% for Indiana, 2.11% for Illinois. And actually, that's kind of low. Bank rate, retirement affordability, Indiana ranks 3rd. We rank 22nd. Education reforms, parent power index, Indiana ranks 3rd. We're 44th. This has been true for over a decade because I look at it every single year. Chief Executive Magazine, Best and Worst States for Business 2024. Indiana ranks 6th. Illinois, 48th. Corporate tax rate, Indiana, 4.9%. Illinois, 9.5%. We're the second highest in the country. We both have a flat income tax rate, but theirs is 3.05%. And ours is 4.95%. Forbes, best places to start a business. Indiana, 2nd. Illinois, 28th. Population, of course, Indiana's growing. We're losing. So, I mean, there's a number of reasons that people want to break away and go to Indiana. And, you know, when it comes to taxes, regulation, poor schools, you name it, you can see why people want to leave. You really can. And when it comes to property taxes, the biggest chunk of your property taxes go to your local schools, and those local schools are out of control. We need serious and real property tax reform. Serious and real property tax reform. And in fact, there is property tax reform that is headed to Indiana that would essentially cap property taxes in a way that they're in even a lower amount than they currently are. Indiana on residential property has a 1% cap on the value of the property. They want to take that to about 0.5%. So a $500,000 house would pay maybe only $2,000 a year in property taxes. You know that's not happening in Illinois. You're paying $10,000 plus in Illinois for a $500,000 house on property taxes. And again, back to the school situation. And in this case, John, you wrote to me about the Danville School and Superintendent's settlement agreement. This story is so obscene. I can't even believe it. Why don't you tell the story, John?
Yeah. Well, Danville's in Vermilion County. It's like straight east of Champaign, Urbana area. In School District 118, they have 11 schools, 4,700 plus students, 70% minority enrollment. In 2023, the superintendent's salary was over $315,000 a year.
And that's a low-cost area for living, too.
Right. And so what happened in around 2021...
Hey, wait, can I stop you right there? She made $315,000 a year, and Danville District 118 Only 15% of the kids read at grade level. Only 7% are at grade level in math. And she's been there a while. These scores are awful.
That's successful. At least they're not zero. I'm just kidding.
Okay, go ahead.
So in 2021, the board settled a disagreement with her. She filed complaints for harassment, and her assistant filed complaints for intimidation. And it was right around the time where her contract was set to renew. And she claimed a board member was harassing her repeatedly over, several months time frame.
Well, they should be harassing her with scores like that. Sorry. Go ahead.
And then, so she filed a complaint, and the school district settled for, I believe the total was $655,000. $400,000 went to the superintendent, $90,000 to the superintendent's attorney. I think 100 or 150 went to the assistant to the superintendent. And within that settlement agreement, and this was in 2021, one of the school board members had to resign, which he did after the vote, and he voted no on the settlement. He shouldn't have resigned, in my opinion, but the board also, according to the settlement agreement, extended her contract for another 4 years through the 2025-2026 school year, which would be next school year. And then to top that off, Then to top that off, part of the settlement, if they don't renew her contract, then they have to pay her $250,000 in damages if she's rejected by 3 school boards on job applications. And even if
what is
they
that?
don't renew,
they have to pay her, or they have to renew it if she's not accepted.
If they don't renew it, and then 3 school boards decline to hire her, then they have to pay her $250,000.
What? And somebody agreed to that in a contract?
Yeah. I know it's a part of the settlement, not part of the contract.
What the hell's with the voters and the taxpayers?
That's why it's all the more important to ensure you get good people on school boards. And it goes further. So let's say they don't renew her contract and she gets hired by another school district for less than the 315. So 2024 with the pay raise, it would probably be up to 350 by the time 26 comes around. Mm-hmm. If she gets paid less in the new school district, then the Danville school district will make up the difference.
This is insanity.
I know.
What the hell's with these people? And Danville, the city itself, is bankrupt. It's bankrupt. And you know what's killing them? Pensions. She doesn't deserve it, and she should be fired. She shouldn't have a contract like this. She should be fired.
Well, you can't. I always say you can't blame the employee. Well, you can a little bit, but you really can't, because the board are the people that said yes or no. The board are the people that need to be replaced.
Yeah, and guess what? If you guys are listening in that area, elections are April 1st. Vote these idiots out.
Well, and unfortunately, people probably didn't sign up to run for the.
Well, their president is Dr. Randall Ashton. I don't know if he's a real. He's a DDS. He's a dentist. Mrs. Shannon Schroeder, Mrs. Kimberly Corley, Mrs. Darlene Halloran, Pastor Thomas Miller, Elder Tyson Parks, Miss Alice Payne, Miss Lakeisha Robinson. Those are your school board members.
So one other thing on this, last November, she after COVID, she did come back to work at the office, and I guess last summer, a student had a Confederate flag on his vehicle. So she ordered the removal of the Confederate flag. And, that's free speech. I don't agree with people flying that flag, but, the First Amendment is there to protect the speech that people hate. But she directed the removal of that flag from the vehicle, and then she complained that pickup trucks were following her home when she left work. So she quit working at the school, and then she said she got a threat. She was threatened with a letter, and the pickup truck following her home, and the Danville police investigated, said it was all unfounded. And then last November, the school board finally directed her to work back in the office.
She wasn't working in the office.
No, because she felt threatened. She felt threatened.
All right. Okay. We're John, hold it right there. We're over time for a break. We're going to take a break and continue this story and go on to the other one. It's the real story with Jeannie Ives. All right. We're back with John, and he's just been telling us one hell of a story about the Danville School District 118 and this particular superintendent. And actually, it's the board. The board is the problem. She's been getting away with murder, in my opinion. I don't think that's that far removed from the truth. She certainly isn't educating kids. And when you don't educate kids, guess what? They don't have good opportunities in the future. She's got $315,000, sues the school district over what she calls harassment, gets a huge payout, and then gets this sweetheart contract deal, which says that they have to keep her employed. And if they don't keep her employed, if she gets another job and it pays less, they have to cover the difference. I mean, John, and then on top of it, she hasn't been showing up to work until just recently. You can't make this up. Is this only in Illinois? John? Are you there? Did I lose John? Maybe.
Yeah, sorry. I had it on mute. I
okay.
think it probably is only in Illinois because I don't see this elsewhere.
This is just insane. It's so obscene.
What?
Yeah. Okay. You know what, though? Well, I mean, again, it's the onus is on the voters to vote these board members out. I rattled off their names. You're going to know who they are. We'll try and make a cut of this entire discussion and push it out down there so people are more aware of it. But thank you, John. Thanks, John, for bringing this to our attention right in the story. We're going to share this everywhere because it is, this is such abuse of the taxpayer. It's just so obscene. But you guys did your own little thing as soon as you found out from the Doge folks at the federal level that Politico and other news organizations were getting money through the USAID program. You found out, you decide, hey, we're going to cover Cap Facts, which is a blog site. It's a leftist blog site in Springfield. And guess who else is paying for leftist blog sites at taxpayer expense? Illinois taxpayers.
State of Illinois.
Yep, that's right. Why don't you tell us the story?
Yeah. $38,000+ per year, and they've been doing it for well over a decade. I think we originally covered this probably 10 years ago. I think it was 2015. In 2015, they were paying $500 per subscription, and it's ridiculous that all these offices. I mean, if there's a legitimate reason to have a subscription to a blog, you'd think they would appoint one person to read the stuff, and then if they need to pass the information out, they could just send an email with telling people what's going on if they had a legitimate reason. But the General Assembly pays $12,000 a year. Illinois Power Agency, $1,166. Secretary of State, $1,000. Abraham Lincoln Library Museum is $1,000. Illinois EPA, Lieutenant Governor, Gaming Board, all $1,000, and the whole bunch of $500 a year payments, and they're for subscriptions to Capital Facts.
Okay, so let's go into that just a little bit more here, because here's my take on it. In the case of Politico, and whatever. Basically, it was for their subscription called Politico Pro. And what that is
Right.
there are writers who do more in-depth investigation and analysis of pending legislation at the federal level. And they say that a number of staffs and agencies use that information about what the bill will and will not do for their own analysis. And my point is like, if you have people out if the agencies don't know the bills better than people writing about it, that's a problem. And they should be the ones providing that information. Lobbyists provide that information for free. You can hear both sides of the lobbyists and find out what's going on with the bill. And your staff, the actual internal staff, should be able to tell you what's going on. You shouldn't have to pay Political Pro unless you want to do it on your own, because maybe there is a nuance. In the case of Cap Facts, it is essentially I think it's just a gossip rag for the most part. But at times, Rich Miller does put out some pretty good analysis about things and processes and procedures and behind the scene discussions and debates that are going on inside a caucus or inside a particular hearing or inside other things that are going on, maybe inside a budget discussion, because he gets fed the gossip, fed the information from the staff that's sitting in there, from legislators that are sitting in there. And so he reports on it so everybody knows. And in that case, you got a transparency problem, because you have people that are in the know that won't tell the public what's really going on.
Right.
So then then people are buying that instead. That's the problem.
Right. And
your legislators are silent.
And, similar to what I said about the school superintendent, I don't fault Rich Miller or Capital Facts. They're doing what their job is. Their job is to write and get some income. They're doing a fine job at it. I fault the state for allowing these payments to the organization. There's got to be a better way to do it. I mean, why does the General Assembly need to spend $12,000 to Capital Facts? Or the Secretary of State $1,000 a month or a year. I mean, why do they need that? They don't need it.
No, they don't. I mean, it's just another thing that can be cut from the budget, and there's plenty of it. But again, I mean, what it really exposes is the fact that either your agencies don't know the bills as well as they should, so you're relying on outside analysis, and that's a problem, or the legislators who are writing the bills aren't coming forward with what the legislation actually does because they're hiding something from the public. And so that's why you have outside people giving analysis on it. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to pay for something like that, if you do find a value because maybe they write in a simpler language, maybe they put things together better, then fine, go ahead. You can pay for it out of your campaign account.
Yeah, they should.
Right. That's right. Or if you're a staffer, you pay for it yourself.
Do they get an expense account? Maybe they could use that. I don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, taxpayers shouldn't be paying for this type of stuff at all. I mean, anyway. Hey, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight, John. Really great stories. Really appreciate you. We'll be right back. This is The Real Story with Jeannie Ives.